My daughter Kayla, who is 19 years old, used to be a sweet kid, but around the ages of 12, 13, she turned into a cruel, calculating teenager, but only towards my wife. She was nice to me and her two younger siblings, but an absolute terror to my wife. She would insult her physical appearance, her weight, her intelligence, her personality, her friends, her behavior, her cooking, and anything about my wife. It was constant and relentless. She would undermine my wife, talk badly about her to strangers, post random unflattering images of her online, leave negative reviews at work, and generally act terrible. We took her to therapists, psychiatrists, and every mental health professional we could. The only explanation she gave was that she hated her mum. My wife and I would try to discipline her by taking away her things, grounding her, and giving her stern talks. But she wouldn't stop. Eventually, my wife and I realized that if we let her insult and berate my wife, she doesn't escalate to more extreme behaviors. My wife did her best and she loved Kayla, but she dreaded coming home every night from work. She had panic attacks and was stressed and depressed for years. She would freeze if she heard Kayla's steps on the stairs. When Kayla went off to college, it felt like a weight was lifted off our shoulders. My wife was happy and the atmosphere wasn't suffocating. Everyone remarked how happy we were. Kayla wanted to come back for Thanksgiving. When my wife heard, she threw up. She said she was too weak to deal with Kayla anymore. I told my wife I'd arrange for a short hotel stay for the 4 days Kayla would be home. She was grateful. Kayla came home and it was okay. She asked me where Mum was and I said she was at a hotel. Kayla asked why she would be there instead of helping out the family, and I snapped and said Kayla being home traumatizes my wife. I said that it was better if the two of them never come into contact. Kayla broke down into tears and called me a jerk who only cares about his wife. She stormed out. Am I the jerk? Edit. My wife is Kayla's biological mother. There is no doubt that she is our biological daughter. She initially had a diagnosis of ODD, but the symptoms didn't fit. Numerous psychiatrists and therapists have tried to figure out why she hates her mother. Kayla has stated that she hates her mother and finds her annoying. Our family therapist thinks Kayla has internalized misogyny and a preoccupation with herself and blames my wife for passing down her genes. We were concerned about abuse when she started that behavior. My wife especially. We took her first to a child abuse specialist and then therapists and 2 psychiatrists. They didn't find any evidence of abuse, but the first psychiatrist diagnosed her with ODD and the second psychiatrist said she didn't have ODD but did have symptoms of a personality disorder. But she couldn't be diagnosed until she was older. Kayla stopped coming to sessions after I made the mistake of telling her that. She never got a diagnosis that we know of. I'm not sure if she did anything in college. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. The only explanation she gave was that she hated her mum. The therapists, psychiatrists and mental health professionals were not able to dig any deeper than that. She has never said why she hates her, never gave a single reason. Comment 2. This is extremely abnormal behavior. There must be more to this. She hasn't been diagnosed with any sort of personality disorder or anything. You're certain that nothing happened between the two of them, that they're keeping quiet. Now for the update. After Kayla's confrontation about us not letting her come home for Thanksgiving, things took a dramatic turn. The next day, Kayla sent us a long emotional email. In it, she confessed to being part of a group at college that was involved in some really intense forms of activism. She said that the pressure from this group to commit to their cause had been distorting her views on family and relationships, pushing her to act out against what they called traditional oppressive structures, which in her mind included her relationship with us. But here's the kicker, and it's a serious one. She revealed that she had started seeing someone within the group who was much older and was the one radicalizing her against her family. When she tried to distance herself from the group and break up with this person, they became aggressive and threatening. She was scared, out of her depth, and didn't know who to turn to, so she pushed us away out of fear that we'd get hurt too. Realizing the gravity of the situation, we immediately got in touch with the college and got Kayla into emergency counseling. The counsellor helped Kayla understand that she'd been manipulated and was in an hurtful relationship. With the counselor's encouragement and guidance, Kayla made the decision to report the individual and the group to the campus authorities. The next few days were a whirlwind. Police got involved and it turns out this group had been on their radar for a while. Kayla's boyfriend, now ex, was arrested and some deeply concerning material was found in his possession. It was all over the local news. Meanwhile, Kayla's friends from high school who had been keeping their distance reached out to us after hearing what happened and started helping Kayla rebuild her support network. Through all of this, my wife was incredibly brave. She decided to come home early from the hotel when she heard Kayla was in trouble, saying that no matter what had happened, Kayla was still our daughter, and she needed us. It was the first time they'd spoken in months, and it was raw, packed with tears, apologies, and hard admissions from both sides. It's going to take a lot of time to heal these wounds, but it feels like we've made more progress in these 2 weeks than in the last 2 years. Our home has been in a state of cautious, tender rebuilding. We've all started attending family therapy, and Kayla has been diagnosed with PTSD stemming from the manipulative relationship. She's taking a break from college to focus on her mental health and legal proceedings. My wife is slowly but surely finding her peace, and I'm just relieved that we didn't lose our daughter to this nightmare. It's not the happy ending yet, but it feels like we're on the path to something better, something hopeful. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but we're on it together, and that's a start. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Family comes first. Always. You did the right thing by getting Kayla the help she needed and by reporting the group. It's a tough situation, but you're tackling it head on. It's heartwarming to hear her high school friends are there for her. Stick together and keep fighting the good fight. Comment 2. You're the idiot for not trying to understand Kayla's involvement in the group before taking action. Activism isn't inherently bad, and you might have overreacted by involving the police without fully grasping her reasons for joining. It's important to support her, but maybe try to listen more to her side of the story. Comment 3. Definitely not the idiot. You're dealing with a difficult situation in a commendable way. Getting Kayla into counselling was a critical step in helping her cope with the PTSD. It's not easy to watch someone you love go through this, but you're taking all the right steps to ensure she can heal and move forward. Keep going. Your determination as a family is inspiring. Now for the next story. He was adopted a year ago. It was my daughter Rachel's 11 years old female birthday yesterday. I have another child, Ethan, 10 years old male, who is adopted. Rachel insists that he's not a proper member of the family as he's not related to us. My wife Emily and I attempted to convince her, although it was mostly me who did, but it did not work, so we gave up. We had planned to have lunch at a restaurant and we took the car. Ethan wanted to sit in the front, but Rachel told him, "Sorry, but only proper members of the family get to sit in the front, and you're not really their child." He was shocked, and I asked her to take back what she had said, but my wife asked me to not start an argument as it was her birthday. Ethan did sit back with Emily in the back, and so I did not argue. We went to the restaurant and she wanted an expensive dish. I ordered it, and Ethan said that he wants the same thing. But Rachel did not like that. She said, "You want an expensive dish when he's not even your dad in reality? I would have thought you'd be more grateful as your parents are dead and you're adopted now." I asked her to apologize immediately, as I could see that it had really hurt him, but she just shrugged and said, "Well, if you want to have it, go ahead. I don't care anyway." But I told her, "You are going to care because your birthday is cancelled. We're headed back." I asked them to head back to the car and she yelled at me and said she was just joking, that I cannot do that, etc. We had a really huge argument, but in the end I got them back to the car. My wife says that although what she said was distasteful, cancelling her birthday was extremely uncalled for, and she's mad at me for having ruined her day completely. Am I the idiot? Now for the update. After the incident at the restaurant, things were pretty tense at home for a while. Rachel was standoffish, and Ethan was understandably hurt. It was a rough patch, but I'm happy to report that we've seen a real turnaround. It all started a few weeks later when Rachel came home from school looking thoughtful. She asked if we could talk, and that's when she broke down. She'd been learning about empathy and perspective in her social studies class, and something clicked for her. Rachel tearfully apologized to Ethan, admitting she never considered how her words might make him feel. She hadn't understood that family isn't just about blood. It was a heartfelt moment, and while Ethan was cautious at first, he accepted her apology. Since then, Rachel has been making a genuine effort. She's been including Ethan in her plans, defending him against a bully at school, and last weekend she used her own allowance to buy tickets for them to go to a concert together. Ethan's face lit up like it was Christmas morning. Our family also started attending counselling sessions. The therapist has been a godsend, giving us tools to communicate and understand each other better. We've had some deep conversations about what family means, and Rachel and Ethan have been building a bridge brick by brick. Ethan celebrated his birthday last week, and Rachel went all out, organising a surprise party with all his friends. She even made a speech about how grateful she is to have him as her brother, which brought everyone to tears, including my wife and me. Speaking of my wife, we had our own share of apologies to exchange. We've learned that presenting a united front is crucial, and we're working on it every day. We still have our moments, don't get me wrong, but we've come a long way from that day at the restaurant. It's heartwarming to see Rachel and Ethan laughing together now. The healing process isn't over, but it's well underway, and that's something I'm profoundly grateful for. Now, for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's heartwarming to see a family come together after a rough patch. Rachel learning about empathy and applying it to her relationship with Ethan is a beautiful example of personal growth. Counselling is a great step too. Healing is a process, and it sounds like you're all committed to it. Comment 2. You're the idiot. It took a tense incident for your family to realise the importance of empathy and communication. That's a bit late in the game. Apologies are a start, but it shouldn't have taken a meltdown for everyone to treat each other with basic respect. I hope the counselling helps, but you all dropped the ball initially. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Everyone makes mistakes, but not everyone owns up to them. It's impressive that you're all taking steps towards reconciliation. Rachel's actions show maturity beyond her years, and the birthday party is a sweet touch. Counselling isn't easy, but it shows a commitment to change. Keep it up. Now for the next story. My daughter Ava, 14 years old, is a good kid in general. She gets good grades and is pretty quiet at school, sticking to her friend group and not causing issues. I was surprised to receive a call today that I needed to pick her up since she got in trouble at school. Basically what happened was the class clown, Mia, was messing around in class, dancing and singing for no reason. My daughter had enough and told her to shut the frick up, that no one likes her, and that she is the reason no one enjoys school. A student recorded the whole thing. Mia ended up crying and they were both sent to the principal's office. The principal wanted my daughter to give an apology to Mia. I told them no and that we're leaving. This started the mum telling me that her daughter needs an apology. I told her that her kid is a brat and she should learn how to behave in class. That if she wasn't annoying as all hell, my daughter wouldn't have snapped after 5 months. She called me a jerk and my daughter is iffy if she should apologise, so I'm making her apologise. Edit to clear stuff up. This was asked. The teacher was trying to get her back to her seat. This was in the middle of a lesson. She was trying and Mia was ignoring her and kept going. Also, since some people are confused, this wasn't a one-time thing. According to my daughter, she had 5 months of dealing with Mia and her behaviour. Another question I've seen, does she have ADHD? No idea, not my kid. If she does, it may explain some things but doesn't excuse it. Update 1. So some stuff has happened since I posted this. It got out what my daughter did to the other parents, and they have sent me email receipts of how many times they tried to get the school to do something about Mia. Most of the parents are pissed Ava had to go to the principal's. The principal has sent an email about conduct in the classroom and a new policy that if kids disrupt a class, they will be taking action. Don't know what that means yet. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot, but where is the teacher when this class clown is doing her thing? Why do the kids have to tell her to sit down and shut up? Both parents are in the wrong. One doesn't know her child is a brat, and your child should apologise to the class and teacher. Comment 2. Ava must have more of a reason than that the girl was dancing. Maybe have a conversation and dig a little into what this was really all about. Put your listening ears on is, I think, the expression. Now, for the update. It's been a few weeks since the incident at my daughter's school, and I wanted to share with you all how things unfolded since then. After reflecting on the situation and taking into account the feedback from other parents and the school's policy, I realised that my initial reaction might have been too harsh. I sat down with my daughter and talked about what had happened, really listened to her feelings, and discussed the importance of handling conflicts constructively. Turns out my daughter was already feeling pretty bad about the outburst, not because she thought the other kid didn't deserve it, but because she didn't like losing her cool. Together, we decided that an apology wasn't about whether the other student deserved it or not, but about maintaining her own standards of behaviour. She agreed to apologise to her classmate, but she also wanted to express how his actions affected her. The next day I accompanied her to school, and she had a meeting with her teacher and the other student involved. In a mature move that made me swell with pride, my daughter apologised for her outburst and then calmly explained why she was upset. To my surprise, the other student also apologised for being disruptive. The teacher facilitated a really constructive conversation about respect and communication, and they both shook hands at the end. Since then, I've noticed a change in my daughter. She's more resilient and has been using her words to express herself when she's frustrated. The school has also implemented a new program to help students develop conflict resolution skills, which I'm fully on board with. Most heartwarming of all, my daughter and the classmate have been getting along much better. They're not best friends, but there's a newfound mutual respect between them. It's been a learning curve for all of us, and I'm grateful for the way it turned out. Sometimes, stepping back and re-evaluating our stance opens the door to growth and forgiveness, and this was definitely one of those times. Now, for the comments. Comment 1, not the idiot. It's refreshing to see a parent who can admit when they're wrong and turn a challenging situation into a learning experience for everyone involved. Your daughter will remember how you helped her navigate this apology, and it will likely influence how she handles conflict in the future. Plus, the conflict resolution program is a win for the whole school. Good job. Comment 2, you're the idiot. You should have stood by your initial reaction. Kids need to learn that actions have consequences, and by backtracking, you might be sending mixed signals. Sure, it's great to teach forgiveness, but it seems like you're setting a precedent that she can just apologize and get out of trouble every time she has an outburst. Comment 3, not the idiot. I think it's fantastic that you took the time to listen and reflect, rather than doubling down on your first reaction. Your approach not only helped your daughter learn an important lesson about self-control and empathy, but also contributed to a positive change in the school's environment. This is what proactive parenting looks like. Now for the next story. My 29-year-old sister is a drug addict and a thief. She has not gone to jail because she mostly steals from family and friends. Her husband is also a dirtbag, and their 2 kids are headed the same way. I will not allow them in my house. I will only meet with them in public. I always bring just enough cash to pay my bill if we eat together, and don't bring anything else. I don't know why she is this way. Both my 33-year-old brother and myself have turned out okay. We have educations and careers, we have stable relationships, we are reasonably well-behaved adults, and our kids are a pretty good bunch. My sister just never grew up. She hated rules. She hated that my parents got her to watch me when I was young. She moved out when she was 18, took her education savings account and spent it travelling around. I was going to host Thanksgiving this year, and my mum mentioned that my sister and her family would be in town. They have not visited for 4 years. She asked me to include them. Hard no. I said that wasn't going to happen. So my mum said she wanted her whole family together, so her and my dad would host. Well, she just called me. A bunch of stuff is missing from her house. Jewellery, sports memorabilia, knickknacks, stuff that would be easy to sell on eBay. Or porn. I snorted and asked her if she remembered why I do not allow my sister in my house. She said that when I allowed her to stay with me, she stole cash from me, and her kids stole my stepson's video game. I asked her why she thought they wouldn't steal from her. She said that I'm being cruel to rub it in when all she wanted was family time. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. She's not thinking outside of the box on family time. Meeting at restaurants, coffee shops, parks, if the weather is good, would all be great for family time without letting them into her home. Comment 2. Not the idiot. You weren't kind about it, but she called you looking for sympathy when she was willfully ignorant to your sister's issues. You don't need to comfort predictably disappointing circumstances. Comment 3. Not the idiot. Your parents either need to make them empty their bags and pockets before they leave, or just stop letting them in their home. Now for the update. After the Thanksgiving fallout, things went eerily quiet. My sister and her family seemed to have fallen off the grid, and despite the turbulent feelings, I couldn't help but worry. Weeks turned into months with no word, and the silence became a dense fog of concern in my heart. Then, out of the blue, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was my sister. Her voice was hesitant, a stark contrast from the brashness I was accustomed to. She told me she had hit rock bottom shortly after that disastrous Thanksgiving. Her husband was arrested, and with nowhere to turn, she had a moment of clarity. She was tired, she said, tired of running, tired of the life she'd been leading. She had checked herself into a rehab facility, and her kids were staying with a family friend who was giving them the care and structure they desperately needed. As the weeks turned into months, her updates became a regular part of my routine. She didn't ask for anything except for someone to listen, and for the first time in my life, I heard my sister ask for forgiveness. Our conversations were raw and painful, but through them I saw the glimpses of the sister I thought I had lost long ago. The biggest surprise came about 6 months after that first call. She invited me to her graduation from the program. I went, holding my breath and bracing for the flood of emotions. Watching her accept her certificate, I felt a tight knot in my chest loosen, and for the first time in years, hope fluttered in its place. After the ceremony, her kids ran up to her, and the group hug they shared was the most genuine expression of love I'd seen from them. It was messy and beautiful, and I couldn't help but join in. We started to rebuild slowly, with my sister finding work and attending regular meetings. Our mother cautiously opened her home to them again, and we've had a few Sunday dinners that, while not perfect, were a far cry from the chaos we used to know. The kids are enrolled in school, and it's like they're blossoming with the stability that's eluded them for so long. This past Thanksgiving, we all gathered at my house. It was the first holiday in years where I didn't feel the need to hide valuables or count my cash before and after. We shared stories and laughter, and I saw my mother's eyes brimming with tears that were, for once, born out of joy rather than sorrow. The road ahead is long and uncertain, but for the first time it's a road we're walking together. And that alone is something I never thought we'd have again. It's not a fairy tale ending, but it's real, it's ours, and it's a start. Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Your sister's journey to recovery is her own, and you've been nothing but supportive by listening and being present for her graduation. Rebuilding trust and relationships takes time, and it's great to see you're giving her that chance. Healing is never linear, and your patience shows immense compassion. Keep walking that road together. That's what family is for. Comment 2. You're the idiot. Honestly, it sounds like you're patting yourself on the back for doing the bare minimum. Your sister went through hell and back, and you're here talking about how there was no fear or chaos at Thanksgiving like it's some kind of achievement. Where was your support when she hit rock bottom? Family should be there for each other, especially during the worst times. Comment 3. Not the idiot. You've shown true strength and familial love by standing with your sister during her recovery. Celebrating her rehab graduation and welcoming her back into the family fold is exactly what she needs to stay on the right path. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.